Hey everyone, Corey Scarpa with Scarpa Properties in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This might be a little bit of a longer video, but one of the reasons I wanted to start shooting videos was to tell my crazy real estate experiences. So stick around, I think it'll be both informative and entertaining. So I had a showing scheduled yesterday for a buyer I'm working with, and before my showings I'll download all the documents pertaining to the home so I have it readily available while I'm showing the house. So I'm sitting down at the computer, seeing if I've already prepped these docs, and I notice a list of upgrades and the tax records in my files. I don't think anything of it. Assuming I just downloaded a couple of the documents and got distracted or something, and I log into the MLS to grab the other documents. While I'm in there, I don't see the upgrade list that I have on my computer. So I go back to the files I already had downloaded and notice they're from August of 2020. I'm immediately thinking, have I seen this property before? Was I going to see it and never did? I wasn't sure. Again, I didn't think much of it, so I downloaded the new files and I leave the house to head for the showing. As I'm heading there, it hits me like a ton of bricks. I remember this property. As I'm driving, trying to pull up the MLS on my phone, I'm trying to see if this is indeed the property I think it is. I think about calling my buyers to let them know, but realize they're probably almost there like I am. So instead I call the listing agent to see if they pick up. Of course, they're busy on the other line, so I continue driving for our showing. As I'm pulling up, I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe this is the house. I'm pulling into the driveway and my buyer immediately pulls up behind me. Normally, they wait in their car while I go up to the house and perform what I call my realtor safety check, just to be sure there's no one inside the home. But instead, I walk up to their vehicle and they roll down their window. I start off the conversation immediately by apologizing. I told them when I was originally sent the listing, I didn't realize I had known about this home, and it wasn't until I was already on my way there that I had remembered. I explained that I've shown this home before and that my buyer at the time actually went under contract for the house back in 2020. I told them that the home was completely remodeled and beautiful inside, and I wanted to talk to them before we physically saw the house. I explained to them that generally when we go under contract, we'll get inspections, and that usually consist of an EMP, which is electrical, mechanical, and plumbing, a roof inspection, a wood destroying organism inspection, otherwise known as a termite inspection. Sometimes if the home has, say, a pool, well, septic, fireplace, we might get a specialty inspection for those specific items. And of course, a structural and drainage inspection performed by a licensed engineer in the state of Oklahoma. Finally, I informed them that when we conducted our inspections, the engineer flagged the home for structural issues, which in Oklahoma isn't that big of a deal. We have an extremely active soil type, and it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when a home needs piers. However, this home was an exception. This home, to this date, has been the house with the most severe need of structural repairs I've ever seen. This home needed 20 piers along the perimeter of the home on the stem wall, which basically meant the entire perimeter of the house, since there are however many feet on center. And the floors would need to be ripped up and holes drilled every 6 to 8 feet on center, and the floating slab and foam injected on pretty much the entire surface area of the home. These repairs were approximately $30,000 to $50,000 worth of work. Come to find out, the home sold 2 months after we originally busted contract because we couldn't come to an agreement with the seller on the repairs. They dropped the list price by $5,000 and paid $6,000 of the buyer's closing costs. Fast forward to June of 2023, the house is now back on the market. Now, of course, my buyer is curious. Well, Did they do the structural repairs? I informed them that in Oklahoma, we have what's called property condition disclosures and property condition disclaimers. A disclaimer states that the owner has never resided at the property and they have no material knowledge of the home. The "and" portion is very important. A lot of sellers and agents think, well, I never lived at the home, so I don't need to do a disclosure. That's a common misconception. This seller filled out a disclaimer, which basically means they're not liable for any of the conditions to the property. I tell them, in all likelihood, this property was purchased as a rental, the structural issues were never disclosed to them, and they probably never got inspections on the home. We tour the property, and sure enough, structural issues weren't resolved. As we leave, I call the listing agent back and have a conversation with them. I ask them, I noticed the sellers did a disclaimer. Was this property purchased as a rental? To which they replied, yes. I informed them that I was pretty sure that was the case, as I saw evidence of dogs in the laundry room leading out to the garage. Then I asked them, did your sellers ever get inspections of the home at the time of purchase? To which they reply, no, they didn't. Lastly, I asked, was it ever disclosed to your sellers that this home needed extensive structural repairs? In which they asked, what the heck was I talking about? So I explained who I am and my story, that I would forward them the engineering report once I get a copy from the office. Then they ask, well, was your buyer interested? No. Well, they weren't interested. I just told them the exact same thing I just told you. So I tell them they should talk to their broker, but realistically, the seller should probably sue the previous sellers, since I believe you have 5 years in Oklahoma to go back to the property condition disclosures if they failed to disclose a known issue. In which case, that seller will probably sue the broker because they didn't disclose the known defect. So yeah, crazy, insane story. So to those of you who are interested in buying, give me a call and know I have your back. To those interested in selling, also give me a call because I know the importance of you not getting sued for a house you sold 5 years, prior. I hope you found this story entertaining. I thought it was extremely interesting. Let me know what you think if you stuck around till the end.